So, Shinji,
Yes.
thank you so much for joining us today. And I remember my first experience with Japanese whiskey, and it was Yamazaki 12, and it was, I think, over 15 years ago. And I remember tasting it and thinking, wow, this is something so different from what I've tasted before. So much elegance, so much beauty, but so much richness of flavour and depth. And I think since that moment, I've had this deep affection and love for Japanese whiskey, and especially from the portfolio Suntory, which I think is definitely, for me, the kind of benchmark for Japanese whiskey in the world. And it's such an honour to talk to you today, because I think there's so much to unpack, because not only do you in Japan have this wonderful tradition of not sort of staying to just pot still distillation, but using so many different types of stills, that to explore that is a huge honour. So thank you for taking the time today. And I guess the first question I want to ask is, history and heritage are so important in Japan. And how do you find that these are the pillars of the house, and how does that reflect in what you're doing day to day?
Actually, we started our whiskey production about 100 years ago. Yeah, since then, still we are fortunately we can continue whiskey business. So which probably show that our founder in particular maybe did the correctly for the whiskey business. Then we have to follow his vision even now. So not only the whiskey production, maybe in general, in Japanese culture, always respect that such kind of history and his heritage. Yes.
And for you in distillation and in production, how do you balance that amazing modernity that you have in Japan with that history and heritage? How do the two come together?
After always we are pursuing that quality, the better quality. That's why that if we can achieve that better quality, we can employ that new innovations, and even back to the very old traditional process. So always we are thinking about the quality rather than new technology or traditional way. Anyways, so we can always adapt such kind of idea to our whiskey production.
And I know you talk about whiskey dough a lot, and I know this is a challenging question, but what is whiskey dough, and why is it so central to everything you do?
Actually, dough concept is quite difficult to explain. That's why I take a memo for that. So let me read it. So whiskey dough is not just about making whiskey. It's about always working to improve our skills and putting our heart into every drop.
Yeah, perfect. This time.
This mindset of constantly getting better is what we call the Japanese do. Do means a way or road, and a lifelong path of learning and commitment. But it's not something you can achieve just by following manual. And while keeping the taste consistent is important, but we believe the real value is in always trying to make even better. So while keeping okay, and now we sell the Yamazaki 12 years old single malt. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, last year we received that trophy and Sugar Champion Split. So even that good. But today we are distilling the new make spirit in Yamazaki. Mm-hmm. I believe 12 years later, at that time, the 12 years Yamazaki single malt is much better than current Yamazaki. Yes. So it's kind of the whiskey dough, I believe.
So it's always keeping the heart and the artistry and yet improving at the same time.
Yes.
And building on the
right.
past to make the future better.
Yes.
Because I was talking to a couple of distillers, and I think what's amazing for me about whiskey and whiskey making and what you guys do is that you're making whiskey for 20, 30, 40 years later.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important you're passing on those traditions to the next generation that will probably put it in a bottle.
Yeah. Yes.
Which must be difficult, but amazing. And I think that kind of, for me, is that artistry, is that dough. And I think that's a really good way that you put it. I spoke earlier about, in Japan, how I think one of the things I love about Japanese whiskies is this ability to blend within a distillery, as opposed to in Scotland, where they're buying and working with other distilleries to create a blend or to create a portfolio of flavour.
Right.
And in Japan, you can use pot, you can use column, you have different things in the same distillery. How do you think, how did that come about, first off? And, how does that give you a unique quality to the whiskies?
Right. And I know that, original blended this operation happened in Scotland. Because at that time, many distilleries are available, but each quality is not consistency. That's why blend together give the same quality. But in the case of Japan, distiller originally they have to make a product they by themselves. So our founder Shinji Fukuyo, he would like to make a better blend, but only one distillery. It's continued by maybe mid of 2010s. So only 7 or 8 distilleries available, but we didn't have any business practice like buy and sell the bulk whiskies. We had to make different type of whiskey in a single distillery. Then we have considered how to achieve different type of whiskeys, so different type of pot sales, casks, and so on. Then not only in Suntory, probably each other Japanese distilleries like Yoichi or something, they did the same things, I feel.
And so you think it's actually sort of because of necessity, he's had to be like, okay, I have a pot still. I want to create these flavors. And then it became almost tradition within Japan.
Yeah, but probably this was a kind of a disadvantage originally. But nowadays, we can create different type of whiskey by ourselves. So maybe it's kind of advantage as well.
And yes, I guess, for you it must be so exciting because you have many paint pots in your toolkit, and you can choose to do different styles. And do you think that's allowed you, if I look at the Suntory portfolio, you have such an array of different styles of whiskey that were very unique, each one. Do you think that's part of the reason that you've been able to do that?
Yes, we have a lot of research on the whiskey making, and also nature looks like water or climate. It's make a characteristic as well. So both considering some technique, but also we have to observe carefully our quality water and the climate, what we can use such kind of Japanese nature and culture to make our whiskey. Then as a result, our whiskeys are relatively, what can I say, very sophisticated
yes.
and subtly refined, yet complex. It's our words for the explanation of whiskeys.
And I think that really puts it, that really defines Japanese whiskey very well for me. That balance between elegance, refinement, but complexity at the same time. And you heard, your two sort of most famous distilleries are probably Hakushu and Yamazaki, both in very different parts of Japan and different climates. Can you talk a little bit more about what makes each distillery unique?
Mm-hmm. So, firstly, we built Yamazaki Distillery in 1923. And 50 years after, we built Hakushu in 1973. Yes, but process itself quite similar each other. And as you said, split quality totally different. Still, we don't know exactly, but probably water, in particular, totally different. Yamazaki and Hakushu, and climate and atmosphere as well, and latitude. Yamazaki almost sea level, but the Hakushu is 700 meters high. So sort of things maybe give some impact on the spirits quality. We actually did very small bench scale experiment, making a whiskey both using Yamazaki water and Hakushu water.
Oh, wow.
But each spirit has a characteristic of each distillery.
So you found a real difference between
Yes,